what were some of the initial challenges like in the beginning? Because as I said, Mike, to convince so many stakeholders and to kind of try this out and to figure out whether this is working, this is really adding value. How did you go about that, and what were some of the biggest challenges in that phase?
So the first was, which I already spoke about, which is the product
Yeah.
market fit. So you really have to solve for your key stakeholders, knowing them very well, and for Vijay and me to spend many weeks at the from 5 a.m. in the morning till night, looking at what's happening at the peak hour. We did video shoots of the gate to sort of study it later.
Yeah.
So you really have to get your hands dirty first in sort of understanding and bringing an offering that does make sense to somebody, your key stakeholder. That's the first part. You have to do that right. There is no shortcut to it. And the second part is, even now that you believe that you have a good product, right? The second challenge is, how do you get to your audience, to your decision makers, especially when, gated community ecosystem of RWAs, cooperating housing societies, then you have facility management companies, you have security agencies, you have builders. There are so many decision makers at different life of a society. So the challenge for us was just finding and getting in touch with them. And what we did was first almost 15 months, and these guys are only available on the weekends because they also do their day job, and in the weekend they do all these meetings with the other players of the ecosystem. So for almost 15 months, every Saturday, Sunday, Vijay and I were on the road. I would have done like a meeting in south of Kanakpura, and then in the morning before lunch, and I would have gone to let's say a Hebel meeting for a demo. So it's just it's just the sheer madness of just meeting all stakeholders whenever they say yes, I'm ready to meet. You don't say that, oh no, can I not meet you at this time? Can you just go when they're available to meet. That's one. So the challenge of just going all over and just going out and meeting people who will hear you. So you just have to take it up. And when you start to taste some success, I think the challenge is then staying true to yourself. And I'll describe what we mean. We were very clear, we want to be a product company and we want to be a B2C brand. But when you have tasted some success, but you still don't have funding, you still don't have more than 5 clients.
Yeah.
But there were several people, for example, builders, there were large facility management companies who saw a product and they said, look, that's great, but would you white label? And it becomes very tempting, right? To say, oh, you're getting a check of 5 lakh, 10 lakh, whatever, right? Let's just go ahead and do it. And that's a very slippery slope, right? You have to be very clear what you want to do, because once you take that kind of a decision, you are bringing in a very different DNA in the company. So that was, we went through those very hard discussions internally. So that was a challenge, to say no to temptations. So first temptation was things like these, which did not fit your true being, why you started the company. And second was, not committing to, or not taking more than you can digest. So we started in Bangalore, and we said we'll only do Whitefield, Sarjapur, and let's say the IT corridor. And at the same time, we started to get inbound requests from Pune, Hyderabad, and few cities. And we knew we didn't have the resources. But again, it's very tempting. It's, oh, there is an inbound, very strong interest. Let's send somebody to like 3 cities and start all of them together. So just saying no to all those things that at that point is challenging and difficult. So that's what I would say what we faced. And last one, which is a perennial challenge for anybody, which is attracting the right talent. Yeah. And again, being true to yourself is very important. We would have not hired, before we decided to hire the first senior sales guy, we would have not said yes to at least 30-40 of individuals who sort of interviewed with us. That is also very difficult.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're like, hire karo, let's move on, right? So yeah.
True. So, from what I gather is that knowing what not to do is actually as important, if not more important, than what to do.
Yeah, especially when you start to have some early success, then
absolutely,
it's you have to know what path you should not take, right? Because you will get pulled into different directions, and people will make some offers. People will say you join us, people will say you merge with us, people will say you start 10 cities, and it's very tempting.